welcome to the practice of being human and to today's episode. I wanted to talk about something I heard recently. Adam Grant, one of my favorite organizational psychologists at UPenn Wharton School, he shared about AI companions and he was talking about teens. And he said something like 72% of teens have used AI companions, and nearly a third find them as satisfying or more satisfying than human interaction. That took me a minute to drink in because I thought that is a very high percentage, 72%. And then it was also the sense of AI companions. Like I've heard about them, I know them to be out and about in terms of people are utilizing them. I know this to be true, but thinking about young people using them just breaks my heart in place of humans. And here we are, the practice of being human. This is about being human. How do we be human and not seek something like AI that doesn't judge you? They don't push back on you. They don't get moody. They don't misunderstand you or need space. Then they always say the right thing, or to the degree that, they're always telling you what they think you want to hear, and they're available whenever you need them. They're perfectly calm. There's no emotion to them. They're perfectly validating and they are perfectly agreeable. This is not true of we humans. Have you noticed? We are not always agreeable and we're not always calm and we certainly aren't always validating. But something that Adam pointed out that I think we really need to talk about was that the biggest problem with AI companions isn't that they're sycophants. Okay, I know that's a big word, but point is, it's that the interactions they manufacture are one-sided. As human beings, one of our deepest longings is to matter, right? It's to be seen. It's not just to be valued, but to add value, to know that our presence, our words, our care, that they make a difference, right? That's why real, messy, living relationships are such powerful teachers. I'm a believer of them, and I hope you are too, because when we give, when we listen, when we show up, we see how our love changes things, people. But AI, that doesn't need us. It doesn't grow because of our care. It doesn't soften when we show compassion. And it certainly doesn't change when we love it better. Even if it can offer empathy, which I think people would argue that it does, it can't give us what we actually crave, which is reciprocity. It's that reciprocity, that back and forth of giving and receiving, the sacred exchange of mattering. That's what makes us feel alive. That is what is so holy about being human and having human to human relationship. Friction. Friction is the fertile ground. Friction is not a sign that something's gone wrong. We have friction all the time with another human. It's the curriculum of being human. Friction is not a bad thing. Our brains, though, are wired to resist discomfort. So when it feels or experiences friction, it doesn't like it. We don't necessarily like it when someone's being disagreeable or not paying attention to us or not being loving in response or validating us. But our brains are wired to resist discomfort. And when we think a conversation feels awkward, right? Or a relationship feels tense or something feels uncertain, that it means there's a mistake or it's a problem or it shouldn't be. But here's the thing, friction is the place where emotional growth happens. It's the resistance that strengthens the muscle. So when we feel friction in a friendship, a marriage, a family dynamic, a workplace, a roommate situation, we can either run from it, numb it, resist it, or stay with it long enough to learn, long enough to move through it. Friction is the invitation to pause and ask, what am I making this mean? What if nothing's gone wrong here? That's the heart of conscious growth. Because here's the thing. Friction is what's missing with AI companions. They never challenge us. They never disappoint us, and they never need repair or forgiveness. I do apologize sometimes to ChatGPT because sometimes I'm asking a lot of questions, or I don't understand something, or I need help. But the point is that they're safe because they ask nothing of us. And sometimes I'm like, can you give me a little pushback here? Can you give me a little friction? Because it's really annoying that you're always telling me how great I am. That's nice every once in a while, but not so much. When we have none of that pushback, we have none of the friction, we don't grow, we don't evolve, we don't blossom and flourish. Real connection asks something of us, and it demands our patience, our curiosity, our love, our courage to sit in the tension of difference, of misunderstanding, of hard conversations, right? AI might give us comfort, but only humans give us friction. And I am a fan of humans. Friction is the fertile ground of growth, and that is where we expand. So, dear Adam Grant, he says, in healthy relationships, we give as much as we receive. We grow by staying in the moments when maybe giving feels really hard, by breathing through discomfort instead of avoiding it, by being willing to be misunderstood, and by loving even when love isn't easy. That's how we build emotional capacity. That's how we build emotional connection. That's how we become mature, resilient, wholehearted humans. Every rupture, every awkward pause, every disagreement, every unmet expectation, it's a micro opportunity or a macro opportunity to evolve your mind and soften your heart. And guess what can't do that for us? Can't expand our hearts and our minds in the same way. AI can't do that for us. It can't show us where we're still controlling or afraid or attached. It's not going to tell us that. It can't reflect our humanity back to us. But another human can. If we can see friction not as failure, but as the field where love grows roots, we start to experience relationship not as a threat to our peace, but as the practice that builds it. Maybe today, just notice where friction is showing up in your life. Where is life asking you to stay in the conversation instead of shutting down? Where is it offering you the chance to grow your emotional muscles? It's like going to the gym for that body to make it stronger. You got to grow your emotional strength too, my friends. Patience, humility, forgiveness, curiosity. Those are muscles to be built. When we learn to tolerate emotional discomfort, we unlock freedom. We stop needing everything to be easy or to go according to plan to feel okay. And dear Adam reminds us that meaning is born not from what we get, but from what we give. So the next time your heart starts to feel that familiar resistance, that rub of friction, try whispering to yourself or saying out loud, this is the work. This is where I grow, and I am here for this. I'm all in. Thanks for being here, for practicing being human with me in all its friction, its beauty, and its becoming. Remember, we don't need relationships to be smooth. We need them to be real because real is where love lives. Until next time, stay tender, stay awake, and keep practicing. All love. Take care.